Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So very warm good evening to everybody. Yesterday we were discussing about, what? Let me tell you what we were discussing. We are discussing about ethical decisions, and we discussed like the meaning of ethical decision, the definitions of ethical decision, and why ethical decision is needed or important, and in which situation ethical decisions are made. And now in this class we are going to discuss. Yesterday also few steps we have already discussed, the framework or the overview. Like okay, and if anybody wants to go for ethical decisions, or if any person, any professional, if that individual is going to make what ethical decision in his professional as well as of course in your personal life also. So these are the steps, fine. So some of the steps we already discussed, like okay, first we need to understand or describe the problem, like what actual problem is. And then we discussed, if you remember, that we should not go or we should not stress on symptoms of that problem or any problem, because we always do this, we always commit this mistake, that being a professional or being a in our personal life also, we always think about like okay, or we are giving importance to the symptoms of that any problem. But yes, here according to this theory, like we need to understand that what is the basic problem. Because if we are not able to identify the right kind of problem, then probably we are not able to find out the solutions or the alternative solution for this particular problem or any problem, fine. And as we all know that we are thinking about some complicated problems or complicated situations in our life where ethical dilemma is there. Now what is ethical dilemma, that also we discussed, like when you have an n number of alternatives to solve that problem, but you need to select what is the right solution to the problem, kya sahi hai. And at the same time you are understanding the or giving the weightage, like what is wrong. So right or wrong, that is ethical, fine. Or being ethical. So this is what we need to consider, that okay, understand the basic root problem or a root cause of that particular problem, or identify the correct problem, what I mean to say. And very important thing is like avoid symptoms, to avoid to select the right problem or the correct problem. And at the same time, the third step or third thing we should consider, that is we can identify different alternative solutions to solve that problem, fine. And हम लोग बोलते कि regular decision making में what we are doing, we are thinking about the what, selecting the best alternative which will give you the best results. Here, instead of best alternatives or along with best alternatives, we need to go for, or we need to select the right kind of alternative. So here we, our responsibility is more. हम लोग दो चीजें यहाँ पे डिस्कस कर रहे हैं कि yes, first we need to identify the problem, fine, we identified. We should not mix up or we should not mess up with the symptoms of that problem, yes, it is avoided. Then the third stage, like we need to understand what different alternatives, and then we need to deal with if any kind of ethical dilemma is there. Now we are discussing about what is ethical dilemma, like when all the alternatives they are all alternatives are quality alternative, or they are with this, if we select A, B, C, D, any kind of alternative, so we can reach to the our destination, or we can reach to our aim or objective, that is solving that particular problem. We are able to do that. But here, like what is ethical dilemma, we need to choose the right one. सही अल्टरनेटिव को हमको चूज करना है, ना कि बेस्ट अल्टरनेटिव हम लोग डिसीजन मेकिंग में तो लेती है, वी आर सिलेक्टिंग द बेस्ट वन. सो वी विल फॉलो द सेम प्रोसीजर ऑफ ranking, evaluating the alternatives and other thing. But beyond that, ranking your alternatives, or see it is there, like rank the key values and principle. But at the same time we are thinking about the right, right kind of uh, alternative or solution to solve that particular problem. So these three things are clear. I hope it is clear. At third point, that on how we can decide that which option is a right option, because and in that case we need to identify and rank the key values and principles. हमको key values और principles को rank करना पड़ेगा कि okay, these are my values, fine, these are my own values, okay, ये मेरा तरीका है, ये मेरी सोच है, ये मेरी value system है, ये मेरा belief system है, and this is what I am, और inner me जिसको मिलते हैं कि हम ऐसे हैं, that is my psychological construct. According to me, these are the values, my values and principle. But here we need to prioritize the values and principles. Like in decision making, what usually we do, that is we are selecting or we are ranking the alternative solutions which can solve our problem. Here, yes, we are doing that also, but along with that, what we are doing, that is we are thinking about value and principles, so we can arrange these things. And then to avoid dilemma, we need to understand or we need to select the best value or the principle. According to that, based on this, like which alternative is most appropriate alternative. So that also we need to discuss. Step 4, that is gather your information. Yeah, that is most important thing, because once we have decided to choose one alternative, fine, or this is the right and best alternative, which will give us like, okay, solution, or which will help us to solve that particular problem or any problem in our life, personal, professional, fine. So we need to collect all the information related to that. So you must be so sure about, like, okay, you know all the facts. So all the facts are known to you. Aapko pata hai ki facts, figures, information related to that particular problem. Then you must ask the next question to you, that do you understand the applicable laws or legalities? Because yesterday we just discussed, like we just touch and go that point on that point, that is like all legal things or the all rules, regulations and law, like it is these things are based on your ethical values and principles which should be followed by you. So we need to understand that also, like we need to collect all the facts and then legal provisions or the legalities, if any, if it is related to the professional problem, or we are searching for the solution for professional problems. So in that case, we need to understand these things also. So do you have all relevant policies available to review? So, okay, this kind of data, the previous data, all the policies, your organization policies, because see, here when we are talking about ethical decision making, we are not thinking only about right decision or alternative decisions, and you cannot take decisions on the basis of your gut feeling or on the basis of your personal principles and values. That is the okay, like, okay, your principles and values or your belief system will guide you. Aapka belief system, aapka value system, aapka soch, aapki jo bhi whatever you are thinking, according to you, what is right, what is wrong, that is there, it will affect, but that is not everything. So we need to understand what organizational values, organizational principles, organizational belief system, organizational goals, organizational objectives, organizations aim, organizations directives, and of course all the policies and rules and regulations. So we need to understand the relevant policies which is available in our data, or the previously, if such kind of thing or such kind of problems experienced by anybody, and then what was his or her method to solve that particular problem. So all this relevant information we need to understand and we need to collect. Fine. After that, are you clear? You need to ask, like, are you clear about the individual's view and personal values? And then you can think about your own value system and your personal values. Don't hesitate to seek out consultation, of course. So when it is related to professional problem, or if it is related to any problem which is related to your job, which is related to your organization, so you alone cannot or should not take decisions on that. Maybe you are very confident, maybe you have all the relevant data, information, even though you are experienced, but yes, what is the right method of taking ethical decision making? Like you need to discuss these things or these problems with your seniors, maybe with your colleagues. So sometimes we feel like, okay, we have that hesitation, like why to ask or why to discuss. So this should not happen. This should not happen. Like, okay, you can discuss with people, you can connect with people, you can, of course, if somebody is giving you wrong information or misguiding you, so at that point of time you can, again rethink about your decision or rethink about that person's suggestion and other things. But yes, what I mean to say, like, yes, you can take help from the experts. So don't hesitate to uh, consult people, don't hesitate to discuss with your experts or the experts in that domain, or those who are having experience in that domain. So definitely these people, they'll help you. So this is what a fourth step of that. So I'll repeat all four steps for you. That is, first step, that is we need to describe the problem, understand the problem, and then we can avoid the symptoms, not to deal with symptoms. Yes, by avoiding all the problems, or some kind of dissection, and then we will understand the right problem. Then determine whether there is an ethical dilemma. Fine. So based on the alternative solutions, according to you, okay, these are the alternative solutions. Then is, you need to understand whether any kind of ethical dilemma is there, or dilemma is involved in this particular process. What is dilemma? That also we discuss. Dilemma means, okay, all the alternatives, and we are all the alternatives have equal importance, or they are equal, we are giving equal weightage to all the alternative solutions. Fine. Or usme se right bhi or best bhi solution we need to understand. But if we are confused, why? Because between two or more alternative solutions, why this happens? Because all the alternatives are right or capable of solving that particular problem. So in that case, we will land up, or we will involve ethical dilemma situation may come in your decision making. So we need to identify that also. Then identify the key values and principles. Fine. And then you can ask this question, like, what is your priority? Why you are giving priority of your own values, or you are giving priority to others or another values or others values. So you need to understand this, and then you need to rank the key values and principles. Then let's move to the next point, that is fourth point, which we discussed, that is gather the entire information. And then at this point of time, we can ask certain questions like, okay, do you have all the known facts? Do you understand the applicable laws and legalities? Do you have all relevant policies available to review? And are you clear about individuals' views and personal values? And at the same time, a piece of advice from my side, like, okay, don't hesitate to seek out consultation. So this is what fourth step in when you are going for ethical decision making. Let us move to the fifth step, or fifth point, that review any applicable code of ethics. Fine. This point, fourth point, पे हमने क्या देखा कि yes, what is value system, what my organization is expecting, what is its goal, objective, and other things, what is the culture of my organization, so, and what is the policy of my organization. Fine. And any basic information or any previous information is available with me, so that on the basis of that I can go for, or I can take decisions. But after that, what is code of ethics or code of conduct to humne dekh liya. Now we are discussing about, or we are discussing about the we can discuss about code of ethics. Now what is code of ethics? See, it is written there that the mission statement, value based on the organization, ethical principles to guide practice, ethical standards and codes can be revised or updated as needed. So, like, as I said, like every organization, they are started with some thought process or some ethical basis there. Like it is the organization is started with the mission and vision of one person, maybe, or maybe number of people, or what, like, they are entrepreneurs, or they are pioneer member of that any organization. So that organizations vision, mission, or future plans are based on their vision, their mission, their value system, and or everybody is coming together and they might have said something for for their organization. They might be thinking like, okay, my organization will work in this direction, or they should work, or the people or the employees of my organization, they should work accordingly. So see, we need to understand all the policies and other things, that what is the base for any policy or any rule or any code of conduct. That is code of ethics. So what is my culture is all about. I'm talking about organizational culture is all about what my forefathers or the entrepreneurs or the who started this business with maybe recently or a long back, what is the history. Because see, I strongly believe, like, if you want to know the geography of any location, so you must know the history of that location. So jokes apart, or it is must, like, okay, you must understand what is the history, what is the background of my organization, what is the culture of my organization, what is the mission or value base of my organization, because it will guide you to think or to make ethical decisions. So ethical decisions means what? Like, okay, you have your own ethics, you have your own value system, you have your own principles. But when we are talking about, or when you are thinking about making decisions in an organization, so we need to discuss this. So moving ahead, that is step number 6 is determine the options. And then at the last point, or maybe at the after doing all these things, we can think about the options. That is, list down all the actionable options. That is also very important. Like, you might have certain things like in your mind, or you might think something like, okay, aisa hona chahiye, it should be like this, or it should be like that. But what about this actionable options? Like, you need to find out the solutions, or you need to find out or identify the options which are actionable, on which action can be taken, or on which is implicable. You can imply or apply all the solutions to solve whatever problem is. Otherwise, if you are talking like, okay, you are sitting in a heaven, and then you are thinking about something, and you are very idealistic thought process, so it will not happen, or it will not applicable in operational this thing, or a practical scenario. So what is more important, that okay, people, they should understand, or they should evaluate whether, okay, if I apply option number 1, what is its applicable value, whether that particular option number 1, A, B, C, D, if 4 options are there, so you need to list down those all the options, and then you need to find out the possibility of apply those solutions, or possibility of applying those options into reality. So that is expected. Because if some people there they give solutions which is, we can call it like, okay, impractical, which is not practical. We said aisa ho nahi sakta. So let us talk practical. So when we say, like, okay, when we are thinking about ethical decision making, it doesn't mean that, okay, you are searching from something from heaven. No, it's not like that. You can search, you can think about options, and not only that, we need to understand the actionable points or actionable options. After that, the way the cost and benefit of each option. Yes, of course. So this is again very important thing. Like, we need to understand the cost and benefit of each and every option. Because ultimately, if you select the option A, or option B, or option C, or option D, so you need to pay some cost. Cost means not a financial cost only. Yes, you need to engage your energy, you need to invest your energy, you are investing your time, you are investing your money, you are investing your people's energy. So like that, you need to understand, like, okay, cost benefit analysis jisko hum log bolte hain. Yes, how much I need to involve in that option, and then what will be the benefits for my organization if I go for it. And according to this kind of analysis, or in short, 360-degree analysis, fine, we can select the option and seek out additional point of view. Here also, I always believe, like, okay, at each and every step, you can seek information, you can seek help from people or from the experts. Nothing wrong in that. You should not feel like, okay, I know everything and then I can take decisions. Yes, of course, you know something, or you have something in your minds, you are experienced, and you are eligible, and that's why you are there in that particular position or on that particular position. But in that case, it doesn't mean that you will not or you should not take help from others. Maybe sometimes, like, okay, our experience may be limited or our exposure may be limited, and then we are not able to understand the dilemma. Or when we are in a dilemma, yesterday also we discussed, like when you are under emotional pressure, or when you are under any kind of pressure, you might not have a clear picture. You might not have that ability or capacity to see the clear picture. So what is expected, like, okay, fine, you can always, some people, they are always there. Some people, they can work as a consultant. Some you can select somebody who can work with you or who can guide you. So this is a step number 6 if anybody wants to go for ethical decision making. Then step number 7, that is select a course of action. Now everything, our thought process or planning process is over. Our planning step is over. Now we need to think about actions, because most of the time people, they are very good in planning, but they fail to take actions or they fail to implement those decisions. So step number 7 is is very important. And at this stage we need to understand कि मैं इस decision को implement कैसे करने वाला हूँ या करने वाली हूँ. So that is select a course of action. So when you are thinking at this point of time also, there may be a possibility that you may get now 5, 4, 3, more than one, I mean to say, options. So you can write down all the options and at this stage remove the least desirable option. Because see, ethically, or we can say that theoretically, there could be many possibilities or many options, but at this point of time we need to understand that what is more applicable, more appropriate for me as a person, isn't it? So that is there. And then for me and for my organization, not only me but for my organization, what is right and what is my capacity. Because see, we have limited resources, our organization have limited resources. So within those resources we need to work. So इसीलिए मैं बोल रही हूँ कि it is not like, okay, we are thinking of moon or we are thinking about like some solutions from the heaven or something. No, you need to understand the practical abilities or capabilities of those options, or practicability of that particular option. So based on that, you can list down or remove the undesirable or least desirable options, fine, and remove any which you cannot put into the action. That is what I, just now we discussed. Like, okay, if the solution is fine, great solution, like aisa hona chahiye. Because as I said, like some people, their thought process was so high, so high, but when it comes to action on that particular plan or of that particular option, then it is not possible. So what's the use of such kind of solutions to that problem? So what is more important, that is we need to remove those points or those options at this stage which is not applicable, which is not practicable, and which has least desirable for my organization and for me. The third point we need to consider here at this stage, that is remove any option which breaks the value system of those affected. Yes, so for any problem, there are problem hai matlab kya, there is a gap, fine, and we need to meet or we need to fill that gap. So and there may be many people or many parties are involved in this particular process, fine. So if it is when we list down all the options, as I said, like, okay, practical nahi hai, usko remove kar diya. But the next point again, which is very important, is rather more important, is like what is not good according to the value system, or which is not good for the people or the parties, those who are involved in this particular process. Like if we are taking decision for customers and some options are not good, or some course of action which will be harmful for my customer or my customer base, or maybe one customer, so and it is against the value system of my organization, or which will break the value system of my organization or my own value system, and the customers will be affected. Even though that option is very good for your organization, you should not go for it. Why? Because here we are taking decision, not ordinary decision. We need to think about what ethics are. or what is my value system is all about. So here we are talking about, or we are discussing about the value system of my organization. Just can you give me only 1 second? I just have something in. Okay, so this is what we are, that this is what is expected, that okay, it should be value based and ethically it should be good or right. So recognize that your final choice will be impacted by your personal values. Of course, we are thinking about organization, we are thinking about the parties involved in that particular process, or will be affected by your decisions, fine, but at the same time you need to apply here, or we need to consider what is your own personal values. So step 7 is select a course of action which is good, which is desirable, which is actionable, and which is good for both the parties or the involved parties in that this particular process, for the organization. And at the same time, it is like, okay, you should not compromise on your own personal values, or own your own personal ethical values. So this is step number 7. Now what is step number 8? Put your plan into action. Now what is put your plan into action? That yes, at this point of time we are very clear about like what is expected, what is to be done, and what should not be done, and other thing. So everything is clear for us, and we need to understand now, that is, we need to implement your plan into action. So this is again very important point, but as I said, like, okay, if you are thinking about the outcomes with a sense that you have truly approached this ethical dilemma in the best intentions and to the best of your ability, these two lines are very important and very interesting, because you should not, at the end you should not feel like you are doing something, fine, or you are taking something, you are planning something, fine, but your approach should be should like you can avoid ethical dilemma, first thing, fine, and which is based on your abilities, the best of your abilities you have used, and your intentions are very pure, very true, very appropriate, and then you are thinking something great or good for your organization, the people, those who are involved in that, and of course it is based on your own value system also. तो इसलिए हमेशा ये याद रखना कि best of your abilities, you may be somebody may be more capable or able than you. So it's okay, like, okay, you have your own limitations, you might, as I said, like, you might have limited experience, or you might have limited exposure, and you must not, maybe you are not experienced on that particular no, such kind of problems you are not solved in your life as a fresher or something. I'm talking to you, and I'm always thinking about you when I'm delivering something, or when we are discussing something on any point, fine. So we are not, might not be that much capable, or we are not having that much experience in this regard, but it doesn't matter, like, okay, you can't in this kind of situation, like, you can't take ethical decisions, because I always, at every point I said, like, okay, you can discuss with experts, you can consult to the concerned person, you can take help from people, but ultimately at the end you need to decide what is right and what is wrong, and that should be based on your own abilities, of course, yes, but your intentions must be so pure, best of your intention. So these words are really very important, like, best of your intention at the best of your ability, you can put that plan into action. So whatever decisions are made, once we have decided, like, okay, fine, this is what our decision is all about. So, and you are so sure, like, okay, it is good for the parties involved, for your organization, and my intentions are good, and then based on I used full of my ability and my capacity. like okay, मैंने अपने लिए कुछ नहीं रखा है या बचा के कुछ नहीं रखा है, I'm giving 100%, I'm 100% involved in this particular decision, go ahead and put your plan into action. Moving to the next point, that is step number 9. Of course, results will come, and this will be learning from you and me and all people. Fine. So we need to evaluate the result. So results can be evaluated, fine, on the basis of cost. See, each and every person involved in this particular decision is paying some cost for that particular decision. Like maybe you, some people, they may feel like, okay, you are very harsh and you are very you are very strict on this particular to handle these aspects or these problems or to solve this problem. It's okay. So on the basis of that, on the basis of result, you can evaluate the cost of each person involved. That may be a client or maybe a family member or a co-worker or an agency, that is organization. What I mean to say here, like okay, everything can be or should be evaluated on these parameters, like इन्होंने क्या क्या पाया और उन्होंने क्या क्या खोया. Because see, this is again very important to evaluate the result, because if we are not evaluating the results, fine, it will not give you any help for your further actions. But if you are doing it, then definitely it will help you to decide the further path or the further direction in this regard. So consider submitting your most difficult case to an ethical review board of feedback. So this is again very important thing, that in many organization, fine, there could be a possibility like they have a review board. So if you are if you have, as I said, like okay, they can guide you, fine, but after your decisions, after implementation of your decisions, the result will come, and definitely you can discuss your results. That is, I'm talking about ethical review board or that kind of board, if it is there in your organization. So definitely you can go and you can discuss your results to them or with them. Otherwise, if if that board is not there, and it means what, like you are taking some consultation or some experts are involved in that, so you can definitely think about their help and you can seek help from them. So this is step number 9, that is evaluate the result. And this is which will guide us to give further directions or to decide further course of action of as an expert. So these are the 9 steps which are involved if anybody wants to go for ethical decision making. I repeat, I'll read everything. If you have anything, any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we will go and we will move to the next point. Fine. So step number 1 is describe the problem. Step number 2 is determine whether there is an ethical issues or ethical or an ethical dilemma. Step number 3 is identify and rank the key values and principles. Step number 4 is gather your information, like all the data, everything related to that problem. Step number 5, review any applicable code of conducts or code of ethics, fine, code of conduct as well as code of ethics. Like here we will consider like organization culture and other thing. Step number 5 is review any applicable code of ethics. Then step number 6 is determine the options. Step number 7 is select a course of action, and step number 8 is put your plan into action. And of course the last one, which is again very important, that is we need to understand and evaluate the results. Fine. So moving ahead, if everything is clear, if any doubts you can ask, otherwise we can go to the next point. Yeah, do you have anything? Yes, can we move ahead? Yes, आगे जाए?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, dear. So the next point of our discussion is like, okay, different functional areas and ethical dilemma. That is, we will consider some examples, or we can consider something related to finance, marketing, HRM, and international business. So let us start one by one. First, we will discuss something about human resource. Fine. So here you can think about, like you are aware about what is HR or what is the HR rules and other thing, and what these people they are doing in the organization. So I will not discuss these things in this class, because we are all are aware about that, the role of HR and other things, fine. But what is the ethical part, and what is expected, what are the what ethics means in this particular, for this particular department. So first very important point, that is discrimination issues. So HR, as a HR or as a HR department, they should not discriminate matlab alag alag nahi karna chahiye. They should think like, okay, all organization or the people in the organization, because HR or this department is dealing with people aspect of any organization, or people dimension of that any organization, fine. So here we are thinking about age, gender, race, religion, disabilities, weight. So on the basis, on these basis or any of the basis, we should not discriminate people. हम लोगों को अलग या discriminate नहीं करना चाहिए. So this is what ethical behavior for HR. Sexual harassment, like, okay, this is again very important aspect, which is there, or which is for any organization, or for HR in any organization. So they need to deal, and this is really very sensitive issues, and HR is responsible to deal with this kind of issues. So they should be ethical first, and they should understand what is right, what is wrong, the parties involved, because as I said, like, okay, this is that there could be a situation of ethical dilemma for HR. They need to think about, like, okay, parties involved in that, they should be impartial in their nature, because this is again very, very sensitive thing for, maybe it is for both the genders, it is for women and men. So it is, we are not thinking about only women here, or we are not considering that gender, but yes, this is for the both, this is for both the genders. So, and when any case is there or anything happen in your organization, so this is again not good, not positive, not what you call, not healthy for your organization or for people in your organization. So we should not, and HR, as a HR, we should not wait like, okay, something will happen and then we can take action. This is not ethical. Now what is ethical, like, okay, you should do certain actions, or you should take some actions for so that you can sensitize people, fine. That is again very important thing. Like you should organize certain meetings, or you should organize certain programs where you can give and leave, or give that view to the people or the employees, those who are working in the organization, and make them more sensitive, sensitize them with something that is again very important. So sexual harassment is again very sensitive issue, and should be, if you should avoid no, this kind of, you should take some major actions, or like so that this kind of situation you can avoid in your organization. And if anything happens, if anything happens, then you need to take care of these things, and then you must be positive, and you can take care of people. And then very important that you must be ethical in solving such kind of problems in your organization. Affirmative actions, of course, the positive actions can be taken or should be taken. It is ethical. Issues surrounding the representative of employees and democracy of workplace and trade things or tradeization. That is what it means. Like, okay, you need to take care of people, and you must be democratic in nature. Like you are giving value, each and equal value, equal value to each and every employee in your organization. So these things are very important for HR. Issues affecting the privacy of the employees, that is workplace surveillance and drug testing and other things. So these things are again very sensitive, very, very sensitive for any organization. So HR plays a very important role, or they are in key position or key role in related to these aspects. So it is expected that they should solve this problem, not only solving the problems, but yes, as I said, like, okay, they should take precautionary measures so that they can avoid certain things in the organization. So issues affecting the privacy of the employer, that is whistleblowing. So what is whistleblowing, that we will discuss later on, maybe after this slide we can discuss. But yes, for this point of time, you can understand that like the employer, they have, there are certain things they need to take care, and then they need to sometimes they are appointing some whistleblowers, like, okay, who can give information to the management, or like what is happening, ill happening, or something not good for the organization. So these kind of people, they'll help, or they can alert other people, so by whistleblowing or to blowing the whistle. So it is like, okay, they are making they are creating awareness about the things which are happening in the organization. Issues affecting the privacy of the employer, that is whistleblowing, we discussed. Issues related to the fairness of the employment contract and the balance of power between employer and employee. So HR is a we can call it as a middleman between employer and employee. So they need to take care of both the parties, that is employer and employee. So they should work and maintain a proper balance between these two. They should not only think about employer, but at our management or organization, but yes, they need to think about employee also, like how they are working and what kind of actions they are taking and other things, and occupational safety and health. So these are the common points which we all know, but it is must for HR, or these are very sensitive points which we discussed right now in the for any kind of organization, irrespective of their size or years of establishment or something. It is really very important to for HR to think to behave ethically when they are dealing with this kind of issues in an organization. Now, as I said, like, okay, whistleblowing, what is mean by whistleblowing? Like, okay, it is for your exam point of view also, you must understand this concept. That is whistleblowing. It is a method can be contributed to identify an act of disclosing wrong in an organization. As we all know, in organizations, when there are certain people that who is thinking good about that organization, or who is thinking, you know uh, for the organization or for the benefits of organization. So these people, they are always sensitive, they are always alert, like about the things which are happening in the internal environment of any organization, or maybe sometimes it is related to the external environment also, but most of the time it is related to the uh, you know internal environment, or the things which are happening in the internal environment of that organization. And they disclose, or they are talking, or they are so sensitive, like they can understand that they can predict the things which are not good, or the act which is done by the some people, or if some people they are involved in such kind of act which is not good, not positive for your organization. So definitely these people, they can take that initiative and can speak about or can discuss these things with the management. So like blowing a whistle to call attention to a thief or unethical practitioner. So this is there, like, okay, if you see the guard or the security guard and other things, or sometimes it is happening, you are doing something, so to get the attention of people, you blow the whistle. So likewise in the organization, there should be some people, or some people, they are or some parties you can call, or some teams are there. So these people, what these people they do, what is their job, like they can blow the whistle and they can get the attention of people, and they, what is blowing the whistle, like, okay, they can talk about, or they can highlight the things which are not good, or some unethical acts, or some acts, some people, if they are involved in any of the act which is not good for the organization. So this is again very important things, like we need to understand. But it is questionable when the dissent or degree must speak out against others in organization, breach of loyalty that perceived as one who violates confidentiality and loyalty, and accusation that is signals that specific individual as traits to the organization or the public. So these things, like, okay, they need to consider, or they can talk about, they must speak against others in organization, but they need to understand the like, if somebody is disagree or dissent is there, against the policies or the rules or something which is against the organization, or organizational policy is another thing. And if somebody is doing breach of loyalty, if somebody's behavior is if they are not loyal, or if they breach the loyalty contract, or they violate the confidentiality and loyalty, because there are certain things like or certain sensitive information is there with your organization, maybe some formulas, some design, something. So if somebody is involved in this particular aspect, or in this kind of action, so people, they should speak about, and they should discuss all these things with other people. So whistleblowing is that. Care about whistleblowing, make sure situation involves in immediate threat or to society or to the business, and documents all the allegations, examine internal whistleblowing first, and should you remain secret. So that is the things we need to take care. Like, okay, you need to investigate, you must be so sure about the things which are happening in your organization. Take care, like, okay, you should report immediately with the of course the concerned person. You should maintain the secrecy, and you should verify the things, and then you can go and speak about that. So there is a difference, a huge difference between whistleblowing and gossips. So we are not talking here about gossips in the which are there in the organization. So we should not talk, or we should not think, or we should not highlight about that, these things. Fine. So this is what I mean to things. This concept should be clear to you, because there is a possibility that some questions, that some MCQ question comes on this particular term. So let us move to the next functional area, that is marketing. And we all know about marketing, that what these people, they are doing, what they are concerned for customers. They are thinking about analysis, advertising, market, sales, promotion, price, internet, and of course the target which is given to them. And that is what marketing is all about. So ethics in marketing, of course, there are so many points, or so many issues those which are involved in marketing, and people, they are very sensitive, because this particular functional area brings business. This particular function area brings money to the organization, or they are the face or the prima facie of your organizations when they are there in the field. Fine. So it is important for them, like they should work ethically, and when they are deciding price fixing, price discrimination should not be there, price skimming should not be there. Of course they are what we said, like, okay, they are there for to gain profit, and they are responsible to gain profit for your organization. But what is more important, that they should not misuse, they should not loot kind of thing should not be there in for their customers or for the organization. So pricing is very sensitive issue. Anti-competitive practice like manipulation of supply, exclusive dealing arrangements, trying arrangements or tying arrangements, and anything. So these things happen in the marketing. Why? Because people, they are responsible, as I said, like for the profit, and the targets are given, sales, they are responsible for the overall sales of their organization. But then they should avoid these things if they are doing this such kind of things. So it is, of course, they are not, their behavior is not at all ethical. So they can avoid these things. Misleading advertisement, contents of advertisement, children and marketing, very sensitive issues. Like, okay, we all know about the product development, content, promotion, policies, and other things. So if people are so or the society, overall society is very sensitive about their children, the health of children, when for some profit, or for some kind of profit, people or marketing employees, they should not play with anybody's life or children's life or something. And if it is happening, then it is definitely, it is unethical. Black market, gray market, so these are the things like they should avoid, and we all are aware about all this stuff. So this is what unethical or ethical for marketing. So let us move to the next part, that is production. That is defective, addictive and inherently dangerous products. So we should avoid such kind of products. As I said, like the contents of the product should be good, the quality of the product must be good, and now the packaging, overall everything which is related to the product must be good and healthy, and for the benefits of the keeping, they should consider each and everything when they are thinking about products. So ethical relations between the company and the environment include pollution, environmental ethics, and carbon emissions and other things. So these are again very sensitive things. Like, okay, production process involves all these things. Like, okay, it may during your production process, or because of your production process, there may be a possibility that which includes pollution, environmental ethics. You need to take care, because there is a possibility of, like, you are using some environmental resources. Of course, all the resources are coming from environment, and you need to take care of that. But yes, at the same time, carbon emission and trading and other things. So these are the things, very sensitive things for production department or of any organization. So they must their efforts, they should put their efforts or involve their involvement should be there, like to reduce the carbon emission, and their product or their production process must be a good, environmental friendly, eco-friendly, and pollution less. So if you are taking good care of all these things, then yes, it is, your behavior is ethical. But if not, then there is a question mark on your ethics. So this particular department, they need to focus or deal with all these issues. So ethical problems arise out of new technologies for genetically modified food or something. So we know about all these things, like which are happening. So production process, or the quality of your products, and if you are doing something, some genetical modification in the foods and other thing, if you are using some new technology, so you must be so sure, like, okay, it is good, or for the well-being of the society. You need to take care of overall social health and other thing. So product testing ethics also you need to take care. So these are some of the key points or key pointers on which you must be sure, you must be so take good care. And then with this, you can convert, or you can think about creating and developing your organization as a ethical organization. Of course, finance, this is again very important functional area of any organization. So there are so much ethical issues maybe there, or some pointers, many pointers are there where you can think about, or you must behave ethically. So first is like you can confront with which includes what in accounting, that is window dressing, misleading financial analysis. Some people, they are doing it. So we have certain scams, we have certain examples of scams which are happening in banks, on in organizations, and of course within share market and other things. So everything is, if you are doing some people, they glorify, like, okay, this so and so earned this much money and other things, and then he made money, and then he is taking advantage which is there, or disadvantage rather, from the system or something. So this thing should not happen. We cannot glorify the things or the actions which are taken by people. So definitely these things are not ethical. So related to party transactions, not at all. You need to make all the transactions at an arm's length. You need to take care of people. You need to think about it. Like, okay, when there is any financial matter is involved in that, so you must be so sure, and then you must be so careful on this, and then you must be ethical in when you are dealing with finance, or any monetary actions or monetary deals. Insider trading, security fronts leading to manipulation to the financial market, that's what we have discussed right now. Executive compensation, bribery, kickbacks, overbilling of expenses, felicitation payment, or fake reimbursement. So as a employee, if you are doing that, or if you are involved in all these things. So there are a lot of temptations. See, this department and marketing department is so sensitive because a lot of money, monetary transactions are involved in that. And there are so many, at many times people, they may feel like, okay, or what I mean to say, there are a lot of temptation, or there are so many slippery points are there when we are talking about finance and marketing. So we can avoid this. If you are ethically strong, definitely you can avoid. As an organization we are talking about, and as a person also, there are a lot of temptation, there are a lot of things which attracts you. There are so many opportunities for you to make money. But if you are ethical and if you are ethically strong, you should be like that. And how many people they could or they can do this? Again, there are so many questions. And then, we should not talk about that. But yes, what we are talking about, or what we are discussing about, the ethics in finance, ethics in marketing, and ethics in HR production also we have discussed. And IPR, knowledge and skill, that is this particular point we will discuss in the next lecture. Probably I'll take only 1 or 2 lectures to because we are verge of completion of our syllabus, or discussion of completion of syllabus. So up to now, if you have any problem, you can ask. Otherwise, we can conclude today's session, because IPR and 2 more points are there. That is, the 2 theories will be there. So that we will discuss in tomorrow's lecture. So thank you so much. If you have anything, otherwise I can conclude the session. Yes, can I leave? Or do you have any questions? Done? Anybody? Yes, Abhay? Abhay Kumar? No response?
Yes, ma'am, we can conclude now.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye-bye. See you. Good night.
Okay, ma'am. Bye.
Bye.